Well, a very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to the March Outlook edition of Vogan's European Outlook. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of February, and it has been an interesting winter, albeit it has been for some or many across the UK a fairly disappointing winter overall. It's not been a particularly cold winter, it's not been a particularly snowy winter. But interestingly enough, the month of January did end up below normal across the southeastern half of the UK. And the reason why is we had dominant cold thanks to a blocking area of high pressure over Scandinavia that was acting like a wheel, transporting bitterly cold Siberian air into Europe. And that was the main story throughout the month of January. We had waves of cold, two significant waves of cold that penetrated deep in the central and southwestern parts of Europe. Now, up here across the northern half of the UK, it was a fairly mild January overall, and interestingly enough, when you combine the December and January period, we had more frost at Benson in Oxfordshire than we did in Braemar up in the Highlands. So we had more frost days up across the southern half of the UK as opposed to the northern half, all thanks to the position of blocking high pressure and, of course, cloud cover. But the month of February turned on its heels, and we did see a much milder pattern across central and southern parts of Europe. Cold still lingered over the eastern half of the continent, but overall, it has been a fairly mild February across particularly Scandinavia and down into France now. It's amazing how the pattern can change from one of the coldest Januaries in some 20 years, I believe, over France. We had one of the coldest Januaries on record for countries in the Balkan Peninsula, including Hungary and Serbia, and yet you can flip 1 month later to an above normal temperature anomaly. So it's been an interesting up and down kind of winter. February's certainly been an up and down month, even here in the UK. We've seen cold days, we've seen snow, but we've also seen temperatures rise to 18.3 back on Monday. Then we've got Storm Doris coming in. That is going to be the case tonight into tomorrow. We're going to see severe gales, 80-mile-an-hour winds, maybe in excess of 90 over the exposure and upslope of the Pennines, the core of the strongest winds. Traditionally in the southern flank of the low, we are going to see some enhancement of that wind over the mountaintops here. So we are going to be talking about damaging wind gusts, I think. But the big story, I think, is going to be not just wind, but also snowfall, not just primarily over the southern uplands and the South Highlands, but we may see a blanket of white even down into the M8 Glasgow Edinburgh corridor during the course of tomorrow morning. So a very tricky commute here. So like I say, it's a kind of bipolar month. We've got pleasant spring-like conditions. We've also got winter-like conditions. The big question is, what is March going to be like? Spring's opening month can go either way. We can see summer like 20s, or we can also see midwinter conditions. And what I will be looking at, rather than looking at the individual forecast charts off the CFSV2, I want to draw your attention to what the stratospheric temperature profile looks like off the GFS. And you can see here that we do have the coolest temperatures within the 10 millibar level, extending from Greenland over Scandinavia, over the UK. What does that represent? It represents below normal heights from 500 millibars down to the surface. Storm Doris, for example. We're going to be seeing more active stormy conditions in response to the cold pool that is up at 10 millibars. But paying attention closely to this warm pool over the northern part of Siberia here. This is the initial, but look at this a week from now. There we go. You can see here that it's warmed dramatically over the pole and over particularly the northern part of Greenland. It's shunted the cold pool more towards mainland Europe, and therefore that could reflect as we go into the month of March with a block and high pressure over Greenland, trough underneath, cold extending from Russia all the way towards the UK here. So there is indications, but we've been here time and time again. There is at least indications that we could see a cool spell during the month of March here. So I'm optimistic, at least cautiously optimistic, that we may get some form of cold outbreak if this responds from the 10 millibar level and propagates, transfers the energy down into the troposphere. That is where our weather is, if you will, at around 18 to 20,000 feet. That is where the main area of ridging and trough develops, sets up, and of course that determines where we're going to see cold spells, for example. So overall, I think we are going to get somewhat of a back and forth during the month of March, but if this materializes, we could see a substantial spell of snowy weather and as well as that cold weather. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Do check out the written version of the March Outlook that will be available later on today. Bye for now.